Hey guys. So when I was younger, my dad used to tell me that I was very cheap in that like I just didn't want to spend much money on a lot of different things. And so I got this last minute kind of job here in Orlando to do some freelancing stuff. And so, with the way that my family does things, we budget for our food for the week. So since this was not one of our budgeted things. I'm here in Orlando. I had a nice lunch, but for the food that I brought was some peanut butter and jelly, and then my wife packed me some oatmeal packets and some bananas and some other stuff. So I guess my dad was probably right, but I prefer to call it frugal. We're gonna sit here on the couch. It's not that comfortable. Anyway, I prefer to call it frugal, and some people say cheap, some people say thrifty, some people say frugal, some people say penny pincher, whatever, tightwad, you name it. I don't care. You know why? Because I'm trying to grow a business, right? And part of making and building a business is that you have to figure out ways to do what you want to do, but do it affordably. And for a lot of us that are out there trying to start a small business as a new entrepreneur, we don't have a lot of investment capital. For those who have like 200,000 or more dollars in the bank that they can put down on the business, great, that's awesome. I wish I could. Revelations would be a whole other thing if I could do that, but I can't. So I got to do things a little bit more realistically for where I am. And I know that a lot of you are probably in the same boat. And if you're interested in being an author, I know that one of the things that's going to hinder sales is going to be your book cover, right? And I really was on the fence about this. I invested in my last book cover. If you didn't know from one of my other videos, I spent $400. Yeah, let that sink in for a second because my wallet's still screaming. I spent $400 to have an illustrator create the art that I used for the Kingdom of Sand book 1 cover. And I've actually hired him for book 2 because book 1 is already doing immensely better than Rise of the Inquisitor did, which is doing immensely better than any of my other work did. So I do believe that your book covers are important, very important. I think that they can be worth the money that you spend. On the same side, actually on the other side of the token, my wife and I went down to Barnes & Noble like a week ago. And depending where you live, Barnes & Noble's a really big bookstore, chain bookstore. And we were looking around at the book covers. You know why? Because I'm a book nerd now and I need to know like what is my competition doing. Because while I'm not going to compare everything I do to other, especially the big authors, I am going to want to compare what strategies are they doing? How effective are some of the things that they're doing? Can I learn from anything? Can I learn from their book covers, from their copywriting, from their editing, from their formatting, stuff like that. And I was really, really shocked to see that the book covers, I would say, and I know that I'm biased, but I would honestly say that Judgment Day, which is book 1 of my new series, man, is at least as good as 80% of those book covers. If not, I mean, like on a bad day, if somebody would compare it to 80 or out of 100 of the sci-fi books, maybe Judgment Day would be, okay, it's like a 75, right, out of 100, meaning that 25 were just dramatically better. But I'm telling you, a lot of those book covers, if you haven't gone and looked, some of them are old, some of them are not modern, some of them are not styled in a way that I think is really effective when you're studying other authors. And I say all that to say that I think book covers are tremendously important, but at the same time, don't get sucked into spending $1,000 or $2,000 on these book covers, or think that because you don't have $1,000 that you can't make a good book cover, right? If you look at Rise of the Inquisitor right now, link is in the description. You can check that book out. I spent $80 to have somebody create that book cover for me. 80. Now, 80 may seem like a lot, but really when it comes to book covers, that's pennies. There are people like Chris Fox. He's a huge sci-fi person on YouTube. He's an author that's making all kinds of money. He's a good one to kind of study and learn from. He said in one of his videos that one of his book covers was $1,000. $1,000. That's a lot of money. But to him, it's not. You know why? Because he's making 150,000 a year. And he has to invest. So he knows the game. And he can play at a different level than what you and I can. But maybe one day that'll change, right? So what do? Say, okay, Rick, that's great. You got a $400 book cover. What do I do? Do what I did at first. Go to Fiverr. Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com. Go there, find a book cover artist. Find somebody. There's a bunch on there that are affordable. Now, you got to be careful. Because some of them look good, but don't really know what they're doing. Or they make you go pick all the pictures. Or, it's different things. So a lot of them, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, I'll make your book cover for $15. And what you do is they'll then say, go to depositphotos.com, pick 1 to 3 different images, depending on who the cover artist is. And then email me or message me the links to those pictures and give me the instructions of what you want me to do, and then I'll put it together. So what are they doing? They're taking the pictures and they're basically photoshopping them together. This is not your, plan A. This is like your plan D, right? But your plan A is to get a professional, an illustrator, or somebody that's, actual models doing real life models that are posing for your book cover, and then they're being photoshopped into different scenes. That's plan A. That's when you get to play with the big boys. In the meantime, you got to do what you got to do in order to get your book out there. You can't do something your own on Photoshop unless you're really awesome at Photoshop. Don't even try. You know what? I did. I got no results. It was pathetic. It was gross. You know what's happened now since I've been doing Kingdom of Sand Book 1? I've had people that I've been talking to about Revelations for months. They're seeing that book cover. I believe it's part of the book cover. They're seeing that book cover. They're seeing the art. They're seeing all these things moving, and they're asking me questions. Finally. But I've been doing this for over a year. Think about that. I've been doing this for a year. Could you write and have all these products and all these things and all this effort and time for a year and barely hear anything? It sucks. And what I'm hoping is that by going through this journey, I can teach you some stuff so you don't have to go through that year of really weirdness that I went through. Now, is book 1 selling like, pancakes to a bunch of hungry lumberjacks? No, it's not, but it's growing. I'm seeing movement. I'm seeing page reads on my KDP. I'm seeing sales. I've had the best month ever in February 2019. Best month ever yet. And the sales, when you look at the numbers, they're really low. But it's not the numbers that I'm concerned about. It's not the income or the profit that I'm making. Right now, my focus is on book sales, on page reads, on growing my email list. Why? Because I'm doing foundational work right now. If I was worried about, okay, I need my book to sell, I need $5,000 a month coming in from my book so I can quit my job, which, okay, that would be awesome, right? That's not going to happen like that. It doesn't happen like a snap of your fingers. You have to lay the foundation. You have to grow this thing from the bottom up. It's work. Go to Fiverr. Find somebody to design your book cover. That's the place to start. Do not hire somebody for $10. I'm going to tell you right now. If anybody says, oh, I'll design your book cover for $5 or $10, pass them. Don't even do it. Be willing to put down $30 or $50 or maybe even $80 on your book cover. I'm telling you, you're going to get a different quality of work than what you will if you get somebody for $10. I'm serious. You really, really will. And if you have something that you can't find pictures for, find somebody that you can talk to and say, hey, I have an idea for a book cover. This is what I want. And side note, whenever you're going to try to figure out or try to hire somebody to do a book cover, you, the author, have to know what you want. And, it's been my rule that when I'm paying somebody very little, like when I was first getting going, that if I'm paying somebody $15 or $10, depending on where I learned from, I'm not going to be super, super picky depending on what they do. I want to make sure that, they copied my book blurb correctly. I want to make sure they spelled my name correctly, the name of the book correctly. Yes, those things. Those have to be 100%. But as far as the picture, I need it to be like good visual quality. But I'm not going to freak out if it's not the best that it could possibly be. Why? Because I'm paying them $15. So you get what you pay for, right? You go to a really fancy restaurant, you expect awesome service, awesome food, an awesome experience. You go to McDonald's, you're expecting McDonald's, right? It's the same thing with book covers. It's the same thing with this industry and being an author. All right? I encourage you, if you're really serious about publishing, figure out what your book cover is, go to Fiverr, find someone who's willing to do it. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars, you don't have to spend even hundreds of dollars to get something really good. Just be willing to crack open that wallet a little bit. Do not expect huge returns though on your first book. I'm talking about, if you're going to be publishing more than one book ever in your life, if you're only going to publish one book ever in your life, you should probably try to figure out ways to save up to get the best book cover you possibly can. If you're looking at doing it like me, where you want to release books, multiple books a year, or at least multiple books, well, I'd say multiple a year, at least 1 or 2 or 3 a year. I'm crazy. I'm going for like 10. But if you're going to do that, you really then need to be okay with getting a good cover and moving on, and keep trying to learn, keep trying to improve, keep figuring out ways to have extra to invest in the next book cover. But you have to grow that email list. You have to do all these other pieces. But this is just for the book covers right now. All right, if you guys have any other comments or questions about being an author, comment down below. Happy to help you out. In the meantime, you can check out Revelations, Kingdom of Sand, Book 1. Book 2 is finished. It's on the way, March 7th. So Book 1 right now, go check it out in the description. All right, guys, talk to y'all later. Peace.